folks, Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Here in blog post I want to share with you, of course, review the latest in social media and technology and all the major phones from the major phone companies. So be sure to subscribe and like this video so that we can get more of these great reviews coming at you. This is the Blackberry Z10, the newest and latest out from Blackberry, and is their kind of answer or phone to compete with the large touchscreens phones, such as the iPhone and the Samsungs and Androids, all that good stuff. You can see here some of the different screens as we flip through and rotate through a bunch of them. This is from amzn.to. You can find them at their website and order them. Thanks to AT&T for providing the phones for us so that we can take a review. Now we review all the phones from all the major carriers, so be sure to subscribe and like this video so that we can keep bringing you more of the good stuff as it goes along. Over the top in playing with the phone for 24 hours, I can tell you I'm really impressed with it. I think it's a great phone, and it's a wonderful phone from Blackberry. A little weak on the apps. I could definitely use some more apps, but I'm sure that will come. It seems like their app store is growing, and a lot of the popular apps are already on it. Although it's missing some like Netflix and Hulu Plus and stuff. But like I said, I'm sure those will come. Blackberry has a huge following and audience, people that really like Blackberry, and I'm sure they'll do well. The phones, from my understanding and seeing what's going on in the marketplace, has been very well received, and people have been fairly impressed with it. Is it the greatest phone in the marketplace? Not even close, but I would say it definitely will come in the top, depending upon how you rank things, top 5 to 10. It definitely is a good phone. In fact, I've seen much worse, and I've seen a whole lot of worse. So I definitely think it's a very worthy, good effort to take and do. Go to AT&T.com and check them out. We're going to walk through the phone and show you the camera and a few different benchmark speeds that we'll take and do. But let's talk about the phone overall itself and how it's built. You're looking at the dimensions on this are 5.12 inches high, 2.5 inches in width, and 0.35 inches in thickness. You're looking at the weight of it is 137.5 grams and 4.83 ounces. It's got a capacitive touchscreen with 16,000,000.7 colors, of course, 768 by 1280 pixels, which is 4.2 inches screen, and gives you a 355 ppi pixel density. So pretty good density there. It comes with expandable micro SD memory up to 64 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes of storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM. It also comes with a rear-facing camera of 8 megapixels, and let's see, I believe on video we're looking at 1080p, 30 frames per second out the back, and I don't believe we have a front-facing camera on this. No, I do see something there, but it doesn't look like I have the details. It's a 2 megapixel front-facing camera, 720 by 30 megapixels for the front-facing camera. You can see it just right there. And let's take a look. It's got Blackberry 10 OS on it. It's got Qualcomm Snapdragon dual-core 1.5 gigahertz crowd, Adreno 225 GPU, and let's see, it's got a lithium-ion 1800 milliamp hour battery, which gives you standby time up to 312 hours, and talk time up to 10 hours. One thing I was disappointed, I do have to be honest with you, of course, the battery life wasn't as good as some of the other phones that I had on it, and I'm not sure why. There's not a lot going on because you don't have a lot of different apps that you're fighting with, but that being said, there's where you're at. You can see here the Geekbench score that we took and ran on the device, and we came in at 1538 on the Geekbench score, which is really good. That's actually slightly better than the iPhone 5 on the Geekbench score. And you can see the integer score was 848, 2386 for the floating point score, memory score 1746, extreme score 570. And you can see here some of the different things. Now, it identified this as an 820 megahertz one processor, 2 cores. It didn't identify as the 1.5 core processor, so I'm hoping that it's analyzing these numbers correctly, which is interesting. But all I can do is work off of the best of what these benchmarks are. You can see here it shows that this is an ARM v7 processor, 820 megahertz. Well, it shows on the stats it's a 1.5 gigahertz. So I'll let someone else smarter than me solve those riddles. We'll present the details to you, and then you can decide what you want to take and do. It's very interesting in how it works. It actually has an up swipe, it actually has a down swipe, it actually has a left to right swipe, and then you can also, in some menus, go, of course, right to left, or left to right, all that good stuff. It actually has a going up and to the right swipe. Let me see if we can get that is what it is. You have to do it just right to get it to work. Now take you into notifications. You can see notifications and everything else. So it has a built-in notifications menu you can take and work from, which is really good. For being able to see what, Twitter, Facebook, text messages, Google Talk, calls that I may have gotten, all that sort of good stuff. So it has several different ways to swipe. There's no real home button on it like you might find with competing phones. So it's pretty good that way. On the front, you've got a speaker that's right here, front-facing camera over here. Nothing on the bottom, although when you do swipe, you have to make sure that you start from outside the screen and move all the way through, down and up. You can see here you've got drop-down quick edit notifications, or not notifications, settings that you can take and get to. Bluetooth, alarm, Wi-Fi settings that you can go in to set up the details on your device. They've got a pretty good UI to it. I'm fairly impressed with the UI. It's actually, I used to say it's a good UI. Let's not say fair. Let's say it's a good UI. It gives you just about every sort of details you want to have. You can control display, your HDMI output, which it has, which is very nice. It does have a voice control system to it, so you can take and talk to it. Not the greatest voice control at understanding you, but whatever, it seems to work. Software updates, you can see here some of the different options you can take and do. It's kind of interesting, it has the payment options directly on it. But you can take and work this just like anything else, and it seems to work just fine. Pretty much going back to the home screen, you just lift up your finger and away you go. You can flip to notifications if you want, or you can go back to the right. You can kind of see these are essentially different apps that are open, that are working on your device, and you can of course hit the little X to take and close them. You can see here most of the apps that come with the phone. Very basic thing. We've added Angry Birds Star Wars. We've added Geekbench, Buffer, Google Talk, and Waze. Google Talk was the only real Google app. There's kind of some loose map apps in there, but I don't think they're official at this point in time that we could find in the App Store. The App Store is very limited, but it does seem to have all the very popular programs that you want to take and have. Playing games, it's got a very beautiful screen to play games on that look really well and come out really nice. It doesn't have Netflix or Hulu, which sometimes we like to take and watch. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter all seem to work just really good. There's no problems there in their operation. In fact, they're pretty smooth in how they do. YouTube, it's really good at playing videos, especially on the AT&T.com network. Normally when we go out for walks with our dogs, we'll hook it into a MiFi system that we have. This thing plays great video just right off the 4G upload and download that you have here, so we were very impressed with that. We couldn't find a speed test app on the Blackberry store, so we aren't able to bring you like speed test figures of the benchmarking, the speed test app, if you're familiar with that we normally have in our videos. So we couldn't bring that to you. It has what's called BlackBerry World, which is basically its app store. And in the app store, you'll find some of the really most popular apps that you can take and get on just about any of the other platforms that you might see out there. And you've got, of course, categories and different apps you can take and get. You can see here it has a system whereby we have a back button, different actions that we can go into with the capacitive touchscreen. Looks like we're probably a little far away from the Wi-Fi we're recording right now, so it's taking a little bit more time to bring this data into us. Probably should turn the Wi-Fi off. You can see here Kindle, New York Times, 360 Panorama. You can see here they've got a lot of different apps that are on here, and a fairly good selection of some of the most popular ones, Kayak, and I'm sure there's going to be more coming as people support this. Even Waze is on here, which is a favorite of mine for getting around cities and stuff of that nature. See, there's a Tetris there, USA Today, the Weather Channel, Flickster, whoops. And they're very easy to order. You just order them, use your credit card. You can even use PayPal on here to take and download them. You see here even apps like Asphalt 7, which is really popular on a lot of platforms, Slacker Radio. There are still some that aren't on here yet, but like I said, I'm sure that they'll eventually get here as they go by. I think BlackBerry's database of customers is still fairly respectable, and people that these app makers want to take and send to. So they have it's an okay app store. It's not the most impressive stuff. There is stuff missing. Instagram, of course, isn't on here, and I would like Instagram to be on here. That would be really nice, but unfortunately, it's not quite yet. As Facebook rolls out its mobile profiles, it's supposed to be announcing a Android Facebook phone tomorrow. We may see more of this. The slowness that you're seeing here isn't representative of the phone. It's representative of the fact that we're at the farthest distance from our localized Wi-Fi. The speed on the phone is incredibly well. There's nothing that I have bad to say about the speed of the phone. It does a great job in its operation and going through different things. And like I say, the slowness you're seeing of it loading stuff is the fact that we're beyond the end of our network. If you can see here, we might actually get more speedier download and upload times if we switch over to the AT&T network. Actually, so you can see you got your text messages. You've got areas where you can go into pictures and everything else. Camera-wise, we really like the phone. It's got let's take a look at what we've got. You can see here, low light, it's okay. We took it out driving in the dark, and it did fairly well in low light. In normal light, it also does really well too. Let's see if we can get some of these pictures to come out a little bit better for us. There we go. Took a second to kick into gear there. You can see here, the pictures are really good. They're 8 megapixel. They're not, I think, incredible to write home about, but I've seen worse 8 megapixel cameras. And let's see, I believe, here you can see here's another picture of my dog. The pictures come out really well in well-lit situations. Low-light situations, a little bit of a struggle, as you can see here, to get things into focus, but it still comes out okay. It's pretty much just a process of you take and press on the screen, it will take the picture for you. We'll go through that here in a second. Now here's a situation where we're in a very dark area on a dog walk with my dogs. It's completely blacked out area, and you can see here they actually got a pretty good photo, and the flash did a pretty good job working. Here's another low light situation. Here's a normal light situation, and I think there were some other photos we want to take and show you. Let's see if we can't get to those. Recently viewed. I think we're looking for, here we go, we're going to be looking for videos. And then here's a low light video situation we're going to take and play for you. You can see here, it does a fairly good job. The lamp does a fairly good job at lighting an area up. This is in a small room that's completely and utterly dark. And you can see here we get the colors, and it's able to focus in really well. You can see that, it's not completely blasting out the photo with light. We still have dark areas around that it's struggling to deal with. Here's a video in a well-lit situation, and it comes out really well. And the focus, as you move the camera around, is very good at being able to focus into different changing modes as you come in and out. It tends to find itself pretty well. Like I said, it's not the greatest camera I've ever seen on a phone. A little slip there, but it is good. It definitely is good, and I've seen worse. So you can see here different edit modes that you have, sharing modes. You can launch videos, you can play them on different things. You can go through and do some editing and do some cutting and different things of that nature, where you can edit stuff there. Let's see, I think we're into an area that I did not want to get into. So you've got that. Of course, you can share with all the different venues that you can take and do. You can load in even NFC, which is on the device. So very impressed with the camera. Overall, it's a great little device. Let's see if we can't get back into the area we want to take and get into with the camera, and we'll show you how some of that works. Now, With the camera, this is the menu that you're looking at, and of course you can see the focus. Right now we are in video mode. We can, by touching this, switch over to camera mode, and I believe this is a time-lapse mode that we have here on the other thing. Of course, we've entered something else with our big fingers. I believe this is a time-lapse mode that will give us a time-lapse setting, or I'm not sure, facial setting, something of that nature. You can also go into camera setting. In here you can do different settings for your flash and shooting modes. You can switch your forward and back camera, etc. etc. There's not a lot to work with here when it comes down to changing stuff. You've got a stabilization and a burst mode, and back button, of course, always on the screen. Usually when you're in shooting mode, I think it's got a sensor that tells when it's dark and will actually ask you sometimes if you want a light, because sometimes this will show up, the flash will show up to see if you want it in this upper left hand corner. You can see it now appearing, and so sometimes it'll appear, sometimes it won't. What do I know? So fairly basic controls when it comes to the camera and everything else. It seems to do an okay job. It does take a little while to get used to if you're used to different platforms of being able to swipe up instead of a home key, but I do have to tell you, it's actually kind of cool. It's actually kind of nice not to be searching for that button and going click. You just go swipe up and you're done. So let's take a look at some of the other aspects of the phone. You can see here down the one side we have you have an up and down rocker button for volume, and then this tends to be a push button that I guess works as a menu in some cases or some apps. We're not really sure. Still working with that. On the back here, we're looking at an earphone jack, a power button on the top. Power button on the top is a little annoying. I'm not sure I'm excited about that. I loved it on the DNA, the Droid DNA, but I'm not really excited about it on this phone. But it's okay. You're most of the phone, especially when you go into, if you turn the settings on right, when you have the phone on standby, just by swiping you can pull it out. You can see here the notifications display default screen showing about 46 Twitter notifications. Looks like I might have an alarm that's running, and Facebook. And so you can have the screen that can kind of give you a quick rundown. You can easily get into your camera, and you can see the time, date, and all that good stuff. So it is kind of nice where you can just go like this and you're activated with the button, as opposed to finding a button to press, in the dark or whatever you might be doing. Down the other side, we have on the left an HDMI output, I should say, and then your micro USB charging syncing port. On the back, you can see that there is a pretty cool area. This back is very comfortable. It's kind of a rubbery, hard plastic, and it feels very comfortable. The whole hand doesn't want to slip out on your hand. You can see that we've got a flash area and we've got a rear camera area. The AT&T logo. Now the back is removable, which is really nice. Now I mentioned that the battery didn't have too exciting a life for me. In fact, I was really surprised when I used it because I didn't use as much, and I really didn't do any calls, and the battery burned up pretty quick on me. I think in about 7 or 8 hours. It says it'll give you 10, but that's not too bad really. There's probably some ways that you can tweak the adjustments on it. The NFC chip is running on it, so there's probably a way you can turn that off. But the nice thing is it does have a removable battery. You can see here the SIM card. You can see here we also have the expandable area for the micro SD card. Back's really easy to get on and off. Holding the device, I got to tell you, it's really comfortable. It's almost more comfortable than my iPhone 5 when it comes to holding the device. It's very thin, it's very light, it's got a great grip here on the back, and so it feels very comfortable. In fact, I feel better holding it than I do, like I said, with the iPhone 5. The iPhone 5 is just a lot more slippery in my experience with it. There are a lot of cool aspects to the phone too. I mean, it has a really great screen. If you watch here, you can see that it's very touch sensitive, and it's got kind of this wispy thing that takes it away. We'll show you some gameplay on the system as we go through it here, and let's see, we'll take a look at, you can see here, Angry Birds Star Wars HD comes in really pretty, really good looking. Watching video on it is definitely immaculate, and the speed by which it downloads video is very good also, so we're very impressed with the speed. We had no latency or fallout with the speed of downloading the video. So whatever radio they have on it is definitely doing a really good job. So we'll just go ahead and show this to you. We're not playing the sound, of course, so that we don't upset the YouTube censors for music, use of music, all that sort of good stuff. But you can see the screen here. It's a very beautiful, well-lit screen. It's very easy on the eyes to take a look at, and it does a great job. YouTube videos, like we said, do much the same, and it's got a great responsive screen to it. Very impressed. So it's a great offering from BlackBerry. I mean, you're talking an 8 megapixel camera. You're talking 1500, just a little bit more than 1500 on the Geekbench scoring that you're going to take and get. Let's see if we can't get out of this. There we go. Okay, so it's a wonderful phone. It's got a beautiful screen. If you're a BlackBerry fan and you love BlackBerry, you don't care about apps much, this is going to be a great phone for you. I can see people that want to move from maybe iPhone or Android and try something new. The App Store is the only thing that's lacking in, but evidently the apps are coming in pretty heavy, and it should do well. In fact, I would probably guess the App Store will be better than the Windows App Store fairly quickly here. It's got Dropbox. We've got on it. We've got Box, and it seems to do a pretty good job. It's very well built. It's very speedy, and it does a good job. Boot up on it takes a little bit of time when you're booting it up, a little bit more than most phones do that boot up with its sort of experience, but it's definitely fully functional, and like I said, we're pretty impressed with it. It does a great job in being a very responsive, speedy little phone. So good for BlackBerry. I mean, I was definitely pleasantly surprised. I'd highly recommend the product, especially if you don't care about apps. It's a great phone otherwise, and will definitely do a rock and roll job for you. If you love the BlackBerry platform, this is definitely the phone to get on that platform. So be sure to check it out. You go to amzn.to. That's amzn.to. We'll be doing comparison videos, of course, with all the other phones that are currently hot in the marketplace. So be a watch for those on our YouTube videos at chrisvossshow.com. Be sure to like our video for spending the time, and go to att.com. Tell them Chris Voss sent you. Chris Voss tested, Chris Voss approved. I'm very impressed with the phone. It's really, really a good offering when you really consider that this is BlackBerry's first real kind of iPhone-ish, touchscreen-ish sort of phone. Thanks for coming by the chrisvossshow.com. Be sure to check back often.